I'm Sally Reed, and I'm the Executive Director of United for Libraries. I've been with ALA technically for over 13 years. I actually started with Friends of Libraries USA in 2002, but when we merged in 2009, we were given time served, so technically I'm with ALA for that long.
Hi, I'm Beth Nawalinski. I'm the Deputy Director for United for Libraries, and I've also been with the organization since 2002 when I came with Sally for Friends of Libraries USA and then continued with the merger in 2009.
And the person who's not with us right now is Jillian Kalanick, and she is our public relations specialist, I guess is her title. She's been with us for how many years now?
She started right at the merger in 2009.
So, 2009. The reason that she isn't with us today is because Jillian is preparing to have twins, and she is home taking it a little easy because of the doctor's orders.
So how did you guys get to be in Bryn Mawr as opposed to in Chicago or in DC?
Well, when Keith Fields came and asked if we would like to merge with the Association of Library Trustees and Advocates, we thought that over and we had some concerns, and one of which was we didn't want to leave Philadelphia area because we have family here and they have jobs or they're in school. So he agreed that we could have a Philly or greater Philly area office, and we're really enjoying it.
That's awesome. Do you want to tell me a little bit about the mission of the group?
Do you want to?
No, you can.
Okay, our mission is to actually serve those people at the local level who support libraries. Friends of Libraries who raise money and advocate for libraries, trustees, as well as foundations and development officers for academic libraries. We provide them with resources and training and materials to help them do what they do better, and perhaps most importantly, we network them together so they can learn from each other and learn best practices and not reinvent the wheel.
So what's an example of something that a trustee or friend of a library could come to your office for?
Well, typically with trustees, they're looking for information on policies, hiring a library director, evaluating a library director. Sometimes it's on intellectual freedom issues. It could be working effectively with the Friends of the Library group. Go ahead.
I was going to say that directors oftentimes get in touch with us as well because they need help showing their trustees what their role is of governance versus management. And sometimes when that role gets a little murky, board members sometimes tend to start to micromanage, and that can be a real disastrous road to go down. So they're always coming to us when that happens to try to get our advice about how they can work better with perhaps a rogue trustee or a rogue board.
And friends groups often come to us for information, organizational effectiveness, how they, what they need to do with the IRS, for example, how they run meetings, update their bylaws, especially fundraising ideas are a big one right now, membership drives, volunteers, getting more volunteers in, book sales always come up, how they can work effectively for the library, and also working effectively with the trustees and the library director. So those are all issues that Friends of the Library groups would come to us for. And foundations, that's a growing area for us. A lot of libraries are looking to start foundations, and there's concerns about friends groups versus foundations merged or separate. So we will help groups look at their situation and give them pros and cons of both of those.
That's right. And I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that we work with academic friends groups. There was a survey done by ACRL last year, and of the respondents, 23% had friends groups. And we know that's an area that's really growing because academic libraries are seeing what's happening in the public library world, and they know that they can better engage their communities through friends and also do some fundraising. So we work again with academic librarians and development officers in that regard.
I think one big thing which we didn't mention yet is advocacy, of course. You know, we're helping, used to be Friends did the book sale, the used book sale, that was really their thing. And they're much more involved in friend raising now and increasing that support for their library with the number of people that know about the library and the public awareness, but then also learning how that they can advocate, because they can do an advocacy campaign and raise a whole lot more money for their library. They can be ongoing, steady, yearly funding for their library versus the smaller fundraising opportunities. So they're both very important. There's that fundraising for the library, and then the advocacy piece that also brings in additional funds, and how they can all work together.
Right.
In 2004, when we were still Friends of Libraries USA, we started a virtual legislative day.
We called it the virtual March on Washington.
So a virtual component to ALA's Library Legislative Day, because a lot of times friends and trustees don't go. It's very important for them to go. They may not necessarily have the funding if they're outside of that DC area. So we started this virtual component, providing librarians with resources, bookmarks that they could reproduce, and flyers that they could promote in their communities that friends and trustees would email or call or send a letter to their elected officials. So that they're really able to increase that support for those who are there on Capitol Hill during that time period. And then, of course, when we merged with the American Library Association in 2009, we really started working more in partnership with chapters and with the Office for Library Advocacy in the Washington office to work together. And there's for example, New Jersey always has really great participation. They're a great state. They always have wonderful participation, and it's really gotten around the country. So what we're really looking for is encourage librarians to tell their community members to participate in this, so that the patrons, those who use the libraries, can be contacting their elected officials from all over the U.S., not just the people who can make it to Washington, but that they're hearing from their constituents everywhere about how important libraries are and what it means to them personally in their lives.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, we have two programs that a lot of people aren't aware of. One is Books for Babies and the other is Literary Landmarks. And Books for Babies is a national literacy program that we have where we sell at a very reduced cost kits that friends groups and libraries and women's groups and hospitals can purchase, and they contain a variety of brochures about the importance of reading to children right from infancy. Really in utero you can start reading. And it contains a board book for the baby, a little card, baby's first library card that says to take this to the library to redeem it for your first library card. And libraries typically input slide in information about their locations and hours, their lab sit story times, how to get the library card. So that's a program that we offer that friends groups can purchase those kits from us. And then Literary Landmarks, so you want to talk about Literary Landmarks?
Literary Landmarks is a wonderful program that was started really when Friends of Libraries USA was just beginning. And Fred Ruffner, who many librarians will remember because he was the founder of Gale and Omni Graphics, he decided that this would be a really great idea, that we would take authors who have died, who had some meaning to place. It didn't matter if it was a library or, a hotel. We've done some gravestones. And it doesn't have to be a real A-list author either. It just is an author that's important to that community. And we get the cast iron plaques and we plaque it, and then the friends or whoever's doing the Literary Landmark has a ceremony around it, and then we send them a lot of publicity that they can get into their local paper, and it really highlights important authors across the country, both big names and small, and people really love that. But I brought up Fred Ruffner because the first Literary Landmark was done in his hometown in Florida, and it was John D. McDonald's Broken Flush.
Yes.
So we've actually plaqued a yacht.
Yes. We've had some really interesting ones out there, and it's a real opportunity for a community event and the friends to get involved and raise awareness about the library.
Exactly.
And they're a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
And we have an exciting program coming up with that during Children's Book Week, where
Yes.
there'll be locations dedicated all over the U.S. during Children's Book Week in honor of children's authors. So the one caveat there is the author has to be deceased. So.
Yeah. In Philadelphia, we have libraries named after people who are now in prison. So the deceased part is really important.
Well, there was an author one time who wanted to have, he was participating in the home he had belonged to somebody else and was dedicated as a Literary Landmark, and he wanted it to be dedicated again for him. And the Florida Center for the Book had said, when you die, we'll rededicate it. And they did. It was really...
That's funny.
That's amazing. So one last question, and then we can finish up here. But if you were to talk to someone who didn't know anything about libraries, what would you tell them was the most important thing about a library?
I would tell them that they can go anywhere in the world, they can go into outer space, they can go back in time, they can just follow their hearts and loves and passions and intellectual curiosities as far as they want to. And it's all free, and it's just amazing. If we didn't have libraries already as an infrastructure today, I have a feeling we wouldn't get them now, especially with the tenor of Washington. I just think when you stop to think about what a library is, it really blows your mind.
And I would say that the most important thing is that it exists, that not everybody uses it. Some people buy their books, they use their Kindles, they download their books, they may never step into a library, but the fact that it's there for everyone in our country to use, regardless of your socioeconomic status or anything, whether you're a little child or you're someone late in life, there's something for everyone there. And it's important, incumbent upon all of us to protect it for those people who don't have the financial resources to purchase their books and their access. So I think just the fact that it exists, and we make sure that it exists for everyone